The topics of today's hearing are of particular importance to me, as New Jersey is in the midst of a large medical marijuana expansion, and I have concerns that cannabis and cannabis-related businesses will continue to find themselves shut out of the financial and insurance systems. For example, if an insurance company is required to offer coverage to a cannabis business under state law, the insurer faces a serious and fundamental conflict between state and federal laws. That's why yesterday I introduced the Claim Act with Senators Paul, Merkley, and Kramer to end the confusion and legal exposure that arises from the conflict between state and federal insurance laws. And Mr. Chairman, I'd like to introduce Mr. Chairman, since I think you're the acting chairman, introduce a letter of support from 8 insurance trades into the record.
Anything you want with me as acting chairman.
Then I'd like to ask unanimous consent to the Claim Act be brought. No. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Pross and Ms. Sherwood, when a local business obtains a commercial loan from a financial institution, is it common practice for the borrower to be required to obtain certain types of insurance?
Yes, Senator, and it depends on what type of business and what type of loan. But fire and casualty, hazard, business continuity, environmental, all those are requirements, and we are unable to close a loan without those.
Is that your experience as well, Ms. Ross?
Yes, it is.
And what happens when they are unable to get insurance coverage?
We are technically supposed to force place, but if that's not available in the marketplace, we would have to call the loan and ask them to pay us off.
Mm-hmm.
So at MAPS, insurance is typically required on all commercial loans because of the loan collateral. So if the applicant couldn't obtain insurance, then the loan request would be denied. If it was a loan that had already been funded for a commercial entity, the borrowers would be considered in default if they were unable to secure insurance coverage.
So either you cannot get a loan because you cannot get the insurance, or if you have proceeded in some way and your business is morphed into this area and you need the insurance and can't provide it, you're in default.
Correct.
Correct.
So would you agree that providing legal clarity around the provision of insurance at the federal level would help banks and businesses in the legal cannabis industry?
I think that makes sense, yes.
Yes, Senator.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Lord, can you explain to the committee some of the issues you've run into in trying to obtain affordable insurance for your business and employees?
Yes, Senator. Affordable.
You have a great South Jersey accent, too, I must say.
Slightly further south, but thank you, sir. With regard to affordable insurance, I think that's the key word that we need to take out. We do have insurance. There's about 2 companies that we're aware of that are insuring, but just to give an example, officers and directors insurance, the maximum that we could get was $2 million in protection. That cost $100,000 a year per officer and had a deductible of $1 million. So effectively, we got $1 million insurance for $100,000 per officer. Mm-hmm. So extremely expensive insurance. With regard to regular business interruption insurance, things like that, the insurance is there, but again, incredibly low dollar values. So, nothing that's really going to help the business survive perhaps, some sort of business interruption, mm-hmm. And high rates.
So would a more stable and affordable insurance market help you reduce your costs, expand your business, and create more competition and more competitiveness than black market marijuana?
Most definitely, Senator.
Mm-hmm. Are you able to fully insure all the dispensaries and ancillary businesses in your group?
No, we're not. We struggle with this, periodically. And as I said, a lot of the volume of insurance that we can get, or the dollar value of the insurance, is not where it should be.
Mm-hmm. And let me finally go back to Ms. Pross and Ms. Sherwood. Legal marijuana businesses don't operate in a vacuum. They usually need to rent property from someone. They might also need a plumber, an electrician, or even an exterminator to successfully operate the business. These ancillary businesses, I think, are also caught up in the confusion around cannabis banking. Are ancillary businesses at risk of losing their bank account if they work with a legal cannabis business?
They are, Senator, and it depends to the degree with which they participate. We are unable to lend against any property that has a cannabis-related industry in it.
Is that your experience, Ms. Ross?
Yes, it is. We do offer ancillary services at MAPS Credit Union, but our experience with these businesses is that they've had tremendous difficulty accessing banking services.
So let me close by saying, so a small business would often have to choose between accepting a new client and losing their bank account, or losing the client and keeping their bank account.
That's true.
That is correct.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.